All right, welcome back, guys, to the Leap of Faith podcast. I am Freddie, and we got...
My name is Eli.
Alexis.
Bella.
So, yeah, today's episode, we have a special topic. One that, I don't know, is...
I feel like everyone's suffered from it.
Yeah,
at least
a
once.
lot of people have suffered from it. And it is anxiety! Was that pretty cool?
Yeah, it was really
Should I have had that explosion?
Yeah,
It would've been-
I don't know.
It would have been
I'm
cool.
pretty sure
Explosion's
my
cooler.
explosion was cool.
Yeah.
Do it.
Okay, we'll redo it, and then we'll have that explosion. You ready? Anxiety! Oh, that was a pretty good explosion, actually.
Yeah,
I'm not
thank
gonna
you.
lie.
What that was.
Sound effects.
All right, if you guys do not know what anxiety is, I'm gonna say the definition of it. It is the moment we believe we could be in danger, the body activates the stress response, which what?
Secretary.
Who cares? It releases stress hormones into the bloodstream.
Secretes?
And,
Secretes.
whoa, what is that? What it says?
What does it
Secretes?
say?
Oh, why are you guys so smart?
What are
What?
you looking at?
Right there. Wait.
You
right
said you couldn't read
there.
though.
Specific?
No, not that one right there.
Oh, yeah, that's secretes.
Oh, I knew it. I was just saying if you guys secrete
Secretes?
stress hormones
Are you
into the
trying to say it like a
bloodstream.
Greek god?
No.
Aren't you the oldest one
Into the
here?
bloodstream, where they travel
okay.
to targeted spots to bring about specific psychological and emotional changes that enhance the body's ability to deal with a threat. That was super long.
Good
I'm
That's
job,
like the
Freddie, yeah.
scientific definition.
Yeah, that was hardcore. Okay, so basically, something happens, you get nervous,
Fight or flight, dude.
think- I
Fight or
fight or
flight.
flight,
Yeah. I feel
All
like
right.
anxiety is a lot worse than nervousness, though.
honestly.
Oh, yeah.
It's like anxiety, stays with you all day.
Yeah,
But you can be nervous for, a couple minutes.
Yeah.
That's it.
until something's over.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'll give we'll do an example each of anxiety. Hold on. Actually, I think I could just say an experience I had with anxiety. Oh my gosh, this one I don't really know why I had anxiety over this, but I was like, I don't know, I was embarrassed, but then I started having anxiety because I got embarrassed. But I went to school and I was late, so I got a pass, and the lady was like, "Oh, are you late?" And I was like, "Yeah."
Why do you think I'm in here?
Why would I be here if I wasn't late? But
You
you
just bring
know,
me in.
yeah. So then she gave me the pass, and she was like, "Okay, I hope you have a good class." And I was like, "You too."
Oh, no,
Like,
it just got
Nice.
worse.
and then I was like, "Oh gosh," I was like, I made it even worse because I went back. I was like, I didn't mean you have a good class. I mean you have a good day because you're not gonna be in class. And it just got even more awkward, and I was holding up an entire line trying to explain myself.
It's like when you do
There was
something.
kids behind you?
Yeah, there was like 6
my
kids
God.
behind me. We were all late, and I was like,
You're holding them.
"Yeah," I was like, "I'm sorry, I was like, nobody says have a good class. I'm just gotta say have a good day." But
Bye. I'm going to class.
I went to class. I was like thinking about that the entire time. I was like, "Oh my gosh!" I was like,
Did
What
this
if-
anxiety follow you all day?
"Kind of,
Oh,
yeah."
this
I
one
was.
Kind
moment.
of pushes you in a direction.
I went to work. I was thinking about it. I was like, "What?" I was like, why would anybody say it?
I was like 6 a.m.
Bro, I was literally pouring
No.
myself some Dr. Pepper, being a good lad, drinking that good stuff. And then
Oh.
I don't know, I was just like, why did you say that? And then my coworker turned around, I was like, what? What are you talking
You're
about?
just
God.
talking to yourself.
I was like, I had a traumatic experience and I don't want to talk about it.
Eli and we're talking about that in the car.
I feel like I have those moments when I'm trying to go to sleep.
Honestly,
Why did
oh
I
my
say that?
gosh. Oh my
No,
gosh.
why did I say
That's
that?
the worst because you can't change
Right,
what
and then
happens. You're like,
you're just
"Oh."
cringing at yourself.
You're like,
Oh my gosh. That's
all right, does anybody else have any examples or? Experience?
I know whenever I have a test coming up, I always have
Oh, yeah.
anxiety.
oh.
I do awful
I
on
can't,
tests.
yeah, I
And,
can't test very well.
Like, it doesn't go away until you get it back.
Yeah.
So, even when you, turn it in, you're still stressing about it.
Yeah, you're like, oh gosh.
Yeah.
And
Even
then
sometimes it doesn't even go away when you get it back either. Cause
Right.
like,
It's like,
Because
gosh,
if you
why did I get that
if you
wrong?
get a bad grade, then you're left to
just is
retake
worse.
it. Or...
Yeah.
yeah.
Or get held back.
Well,
I
every
didn't
time
get
go to
held
court-
back.
Second grade,
Just gonna put
gosh.
that out there. I didn't get held back. I could have gotten held back, but I didn't. I passed with a D in English.
Nice.
Oh.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very proud of you.
Every time I go to Culver's,
Yes.
I ask for the chocolate custard, but they give me vanilla. So I always I like
This
my.
gives you anxiety.
I like the food the way I like it, but I feel every single time I go there, I say I want the chocolate concrete mixer with whatever in it, and every time they get it wrong, so I feel like, oh, if I go back, are they gonna get mad at me?
Oh my god.
But it's like,
Oh.
dude,
Honestly, dude.
Yeah.
You're
It's
stressing out about going back.
Well, yeah, because
Yeah,
what
and
if they
asking
get
for
mad
my
at you?
food the right way.
And
It's
then
like
they're
every
True.
time, dude. Like you know my name.
That happened to me one time at Buffalo Wild Wings. I asked for it
Yeah.
because I'm weird and I eat stuff with lemon.
Yeah.
So like I got a burger and that our waiter or whatever, she was like she already had like an attitude. So I was like, oh god. So I'm like, Mrs. Lady, she came over here. I was like, oh, Mrs. Buffalo Wild Wings, can I have some lemons? And she looks at me and she rolls her eyes and she's like, okay.
Fine.
I was
Oh, it's like you're here to
"What?"
do.
And
you're
then
here
you
to do
feel
this.
bad for even asking.
I was like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I was like, I just wanted to eat my food.
I just wanted the one I like it.
What about you, Alexis?
Oh, I have anxiety a lot, honestly. I stopped going to nail salons because they wouldn't understand what I wanted and they
Yeah.
would do something completely different.
Oh my god.
And I'd just sit there and let them do it and not say anything because I felt bad. But I'd still give him like a $10 tip for not doing
Oh
what
my
I
God.
wanted.
Yeah, one time I
Yeah.
went there and
'Cause
I
you were
asked for white and they
too,
gave me
like,
orange.
Anxious to
Yeah, I stopped going to nail salons and now I do my
Cause I
own
never get
my
it
own
right,
nails.
and
Yeah.
then-
Oh my
You ever
god.
get-
I asked for a matte white nail and she gave me a glossy like orange color.
We went from like anxiety to talking about colors of nails.
I don't know. I guess I'm not really an extrovert.
Yeah.
I don't talk to a lot of people, so also being like a waiter, I'm always having to like
Does your
deal
job
with talking to people.
like your job makes you anxious all the time?
Yeah, because I mean, I know I'm never probably gonna see them again, but I'm also like I'm there to give them my utmost
That's- yeah.
best like service, and it's like
Honestly.
I can't even. I have anxiety just asking how people's days are. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh,
Like, how's your day?
Yeah.
my brain just shuts off, and I can't speak. I don't
Honestly.
know.
Does it stress you out trying to talk to people like that?
Oh yeah.
Like being really nice?
Especially
yeah,
like
man.
older people, I'm like, cause I'm so quiet, and I'm like, I'm gonna.
Yeah.
What? How are you doing? What?
Speak up, son.
gonna have to speak up.
Are
Yeah.
you talking trash right now?
Yeah,
That
I
always-
don't know.
that
It's
always
a
sounds
daily
fun.
thing for me.
Honestly.
Really, Gary.
Do you ever get like social anxiety?
Oh yeah, when I'm in a group of people and I like try to say something and like
No one responds.
yeah, and
like-
then I'm like, why do you have to be so stupid? Well, like,
Oh my
Do I say
God.
it again? Or?
yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I judge myself a lot. I guess I don't know.
Yeah.
It's hard.
All right.
being
Well,
with friends.
the Bible talks about anxiety and says, "Cast all your anxiety on Him because He cares for you," and that's 1 Peter 5:7, and yeah, I know. Like, if you have anxiety, I guess like it's like hard to talk to people and stuff. Like there's this thing that some people do with anxiety to
Move a lot.
yeah, they just
Yeah.
like move a lot, tap their feet a lot.
Yeah.
And then some people think I have anxiety, but I'm like, I'm sorry, I just have ADHD. Like,
Oh my gosh, same.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes like if I have anxiety, I'll do that, but like nobody knows because I do that all the
Or
time.
like the really
anyways.
concerned teachers are like, do you
Yeah.
need a stress ball or something?
Like,
Oh
"You
my
need
gosh,
stress
I mean-
ball?"
I wish my
Really?
teachers were
Really?
concerned.
You're like,
You've never
"Do you
had a
need help?"
teacher where they're like, do you need something? Do you need
No, my
do you
teachers
need to go to
don't
the bathroom or
care at
something?"
all.
They
My
don't?
teachers ask me all the time
No.
because they
My
thought I was
teachers are
on stuff.
mean. You're younger than me. You're older than me, but you're. Oh.
Does that annoy you? Why did
Yeah.
you? I'm sorry.
It's okay.
You're younger, but you're totally older.
Oh my god.
Oh,
All right. So
He's smarter than me too, probably.
Bella.
Why do we need to bring this up in the middle? Okay.
Anyway, what are you talking about? Go on.
Are you okay?
Jesus loves me.
Honey, are you okay? Is everything fine?
Do you need a stress ball?
You need a stress ball? Are you having
No.
anxiety
I
right
need to
now?
leave.
Oh my god.
I
Okay.
don't need
Well,
to be at school.
I don't know. Like, I guess, what are some ways that you guys think, somebody could handle stress? Like a good way to handle stress, like a healthy way.
I
Music.
know.
Listen to music.
Music. I was just about to say that.
Yeah.
Music is a good way to like de-stress. I feel like. I know like breathing helps too.
Yeah.
Like
Oh yeah.
thinking about breathing.
Breathing exercises.
Yeah.
Make sure you don't pass out.
Exercising.
Exercising.
Ooh, yeah, that's a nice
Working
one.
out.
Exercising.
I just realized that's.
Is that something you do to make you less anxious?
How I
Yeah.
deal with my anger issues, to be
Workout.
honest.
Really?
Yeah,
Eating
I,
food?
Why?
I have to run or something.
Oh.
You have to like run.
I
My
have
dad
to
has
physically
anger.
run.
You're like,
Yeah,
I gotta run
she's-
away from my problems.
She's really good at cross country. Zoom.
You know, another good one. Eating food.
Hey, duck, duck, goose.
Eating
and
my
I told him,
feelings, dude.
Eat your feelings away. Oh my
Run
gosh.
them away.
Okay. What else? I'm gonna play a song here that I think goes good with kind of what we're talking about. Like, sometimes people with anxiety, they'll like, I don't know, they'll just feel like, somebody help me explain this. Like,
Trapped?
kind of trapped. They feel like they can't really talk to people. They're like,
They feel like they'll be judged. They
Oh,
feel
yeah,
anxious
they'll feel
without
like
telling somebody
they'll
about
get judged about whatever.
Mhm.
And I feel like this song would go good
Of
for
how they
with
feel.
that. It's
My mom does it all
God Only Knows by,
the time. Oh, I'm
Alright.
sorry.
well, here it is,
Alright,
God
and
Only Knows by For King and Country.
Wide awake while the world is sound asleep, and too afraid of what might show up while you're dreaming. Nobody sees you. Nobody will believe it. And every day you try to pick up all the pieces, all the memories they somehow never leave you. Nobody sees you. Nobody will believe it. God only knows what you've been through. God only knows what they say about you. God only knows how it's killing you. But there's a kind of love that God only knows. God only knows what you've been through. God only knows what they say about you. But God only knows the real you. There's a kind of love that God only knows. You keep a cover over every single secret. So afraid if someone saw them they would leave. But somebody sees you. Somebody will never leave you. God only knows what you've been through. God only knows what they say about you. God only knows how it's killing you. But there's a kind of love that God only knows. God only knows what you've been through. God only knows what they say about you. But God only knows the real you. There's a kind of love that God only knows. For the lonely, for the ashamed, the misunderstood and the ones to blame. What if we could start over? We could start over. We could start over. Oh, for the lonely, for the ashamed, the misunderstood and the ones to blame. What if we could start over? We could start over. We could start over. Cause there's a kind of love that God only knows. God only knows what you've been through. God only knows what they say about you. But God only knows the real you. There's a kind of love that God only knows. God only knows what you've been through. God only knows what they say about you. But God only knows the real you. There's a kind of love that God only knows. God only knows knows where to find you. God only knows how to break through. God only knows the real you. There's a kind of love that God only knows.
Wow.
All right, guys, we are back, and we have Christopher with us. Christopher Granley, our youth pastor.
Awesome. Well, one of the things I love talking about with students a lot of times is just like how do they go into this next step confidently. You know what I mean? I think that's one of the things we talk about anxiety.
Yeah.
A lot of times when I associate anxiety, I'm like, it's anxiety is present when the confidence is not. And so I think that we've all had moments like that where you're like, man, I don't understand why this is here. I don't know why this emotion is here.
Yeah.
But it's here and it's crippling. So I guess I'll turn it right over to you first, Freddie. When you experience anxiety, what is the very first thing that you do?
Like the first thing I do?
You're noticing like, man, I am restless. I'm struggling. What's the very first thing you do when you realize you have anxiety?
Panic. Just, I don't know. I just like
freak out, man.
Start thinking too much. I'm like, oh my gosh. So I like move my body a lot more than I usually do.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Sometimes I'll talk a little faster,
Sure.
or I'll get like or like I won't talk normally, and like I'll be like,
Just big noises.
yeah.
Well, I know like Alexis does a lot of stuff with orchestra and the sports that she does is high performance, and I think that one of the things I talk a lot of times with people with anxiety, I don't think that it's present like when you don't care. I think that anxiety is a symptom of you caring. I mean, if it was something that you're like, hey, I don't care about this, it just wouldn't be there. And so, Alexis, what in your experience, what is a situation that like you get into that consistently gives you anxiety?
Thinking about like other people, honestly.
What they might be saying or thinking about you?
Yeah, like I'm not performing at my best, you know.
Sure.
I don't know. I just with running, running is running, right? People don't really think it's that hard to do, which it's not. But there's also this high pressure, like you have to push yourself constantly for it.
Yeah, and I think that like anything else, it's a mental strain. Like for me, like there's a physical aspect to a lot of what I used to do in high school, and even what I do now, like helping me do different things. But at physical, it's like you're just pushing past the physical. The thing that's so hard is that anxiety can be so crippling mentally. You know what I mean? Like it's funny because I don't know if you guys have ever been anxious about a situation that you kind of made up in your own head. Like you're in a situation like, oh my gosh, if this happens and so says this is what I should say, and then if I don't say this, and they're gonna do whatever, and you have completely
you think it's gonna happen.
You are completely anxious and nervous about a situation that hasn't even happened yet.
Yeah.
Or that you don't know that will happen.
Or may not happen at all.
Funny story.
Ready.
I had a panic attack in my dream last night.
Oh my God.
In a dream.
All right, so a panic attack in a dream that you had.
Yep.
God.
So, because we've talked about how we're possibly getting a group together for tattoos.
Yeah.
And I've never experienced that before. And usually when I get shots, I have a fear of needles.
Right.
But for some reason, I was just sitting in the chair, and the artist does a little line, and I just have this huge panic attack.
Oh no.
Out of nowhere. Yeah, I woke up and I was crying. I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Not good.
Yeah.
Not good.
No.
But that's one of the things that I kind of, if I can do this kind of like in a biblical part where something that I've felt anxiety over and something I see a lot of times with Jonah. Like Jonah is commanded to go out to Nineveh and is asked to go out there and go be a witness. And you can call it like distaste or he didn't want to go, whatever. But I think there's a certain level of anxiety of like, I don't want to go with these terrible people.
Yeah.
Like I am a prophet. I have achieved something. I do not want to go there. And the number one reason why he didn't want to go is because he had already deemed those people unlovable.
Yeah.
Like he had already said, man, like these people that are there, like they're not good. I think that sometimes, like even in my own self, or maybe you guys are related to this, sometimes the anxiety is because you're like, that is not a situation, a person, or a people group that I want to be a part of.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you guys have been invited to a party, invited to a family get together. You're like, dude, I will do anything that I can to not go there. Do you know what I mean? But yet we're all in that same spot. And so I look at Jonah a lot of times and say, okay, man, when he faced anxiety, like it almost shut down his ministry. And I guess that's one of the things I talk about with young people a lot is do not allow like anxiety to get in the way where God's called you. Like, and I think that's kind of scary sometimes because I think, Freddie, you got a lot of things kind of coming up. Like, not only is it like, okay, graduation.
Trying to pass all my classes.
Trying to be an intern. Potentially get on staff at some point.
Yeah.
And it's so crazy because I feel like sometimes, I remember like when I was an intern in that spot, I was like, man, there is no way that God can use someone like me. Like, if everyone knew all the details, if everyone knew me, like all of me, there's no way. But I would guess that'd be the biggest thing of encouragement that I would give to you three, especially when it comes to anxiety, is just know that like Jesus was here and knew all things and said not. He understood anxiety. I think even in the Garden of Gethsemane when he's praying and like he's like, God, if there's any way this cup can pass, like would you let it pass? There's anxiety in that moment of saying, God, like I'm not afraid of a cross. I'm not afraid of whatever. I have never known what it's like to be without you.
Yeah.
And I don't want to. Yeah, and so I think that's just some crazy thing about that. But that is my kind of spiel on anxiety, is to make sure that you are carrying your cross daily and that you are ready for the opportunities that are going to come. That's it.
That was way better than
Yeah,
what we
that was really good.
Way better.
Yeah, it was a lot better, but that's because you're the pastor and
We're the newbies.
We know what we're talking about.
All good, all good.
we're gonna talk about how we could use prayer to kind of like cope with anxiety.
Absolutely.
And, talk to God and connect with Him, and just talk about how your day went with God, and just like I don't know, spend time talking to God.
I think what's like you kind of funny about that is you think about, okay, so like Bella, time that you've been anxious, I think anxiety exists where there's lack of conversation. And I think that's exactly what you just said. Anxiety is built up because you don't have all the facts. Like I am nervous about a situation that has not come yet. Like I'm worried about the conversation, or I'm worried about that talk. Well, how funny is it that's exactly what we're talking about in a Christian walk.
Yeah.
God, before this conversation, I am anxious about a situation because I haven't talked to you yet.
Yes.
And how crazy is that it's connected?
Honestly.
God, like in the same spot where I'm nervous and where I don't know where my next step is. Like I've been in moments where I've felt so anxious and I've wrestled through a million different things and never turned to prayer.
Yeah.
Anxiety is present when there's a lack of conversation. So I think that's kind of unique in that's existing in our spiritual life as well.
Yeah. And we're also going to talk about how we could use worship as another way to cope with anxiety, where we could just sit there in a room by yourself,
Absolutely.
like completely shut off from the outside world, and just play a worship song or sing along and just connect with God and worship.
Absolutely. I think that like anything, I think that sometimes like in my own life, I've built an idol out of anxiety. I know that sounds stupid. Like why would you build an idol out of something that's negative? An idol by definition is anything that we put at a higher value than God. And I know that in my life, like I've been so nervous about situations or so nervous about what's to come that I have prioritized the hypotheticals and that nervousness higher than God.
Yeah.
And I think you nailed it right on the head, Freddie. Like, how do we combat that? We combat that with worshiping the one that's bigger than the situation.
Yes.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome.
Well, thank you for helping us with
man.
this. We were kind of stuck.
No, man.
No, we're not.
It's all good. All good. All good.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of had anxiety before doing this podcast about anxiety.
Absolutely, man. Hey, well, I appreciate you having me
Anxiety all
on,
around.
Freddie.
Yeah,
I
man.
appreciate you just kind of open this up. And I think that anytime you take an opportunity, Freddie, to allow God to shine light into something that's dark, like anxiety, mental health, whatever, like that there is worship in that. There is adoration in that. And that's awesome, brother.
All right. Well, thank you for coming here,
Appreciate you.
Mr. Chris.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Yes. All right. Eli is gonna come back. Yeah, Eli was gone for a second because Christopher was here.
Christopher Granley. Christopher
Mr.
Columbus.
Christopher Granley. Bye, Chris.
Hi, Chris.
We'll see you soon. Ooh. Basically, that's a podcast, you know. So if you ever have anxiety, just remember that you could talk to people about it, and that you could just, there's other ways to cope with it, like worshiping, praying, and what the heck? Bye, Alexis.
And I think just by like opening this conversation and talking about it makes people more comfortable.
Yes.
Like sometimes it's like a little taboo to talk about.
I get anxious about, like, I don't really talk to people about this, but, like, my knee.
Yeah.
I have a fluid in my knee. It's something weird. My dad and my brother had it. So it's, like, where the bone,
Yeah.
like chisels, like
Chisels.
and whatever, and there's like 6 or 9 sacks in your knee, and like one of them,
I'm not ill. I'm not. Oh
one
my
of
God.
mine exploded and it
Got a
overflowed
sack
the
in
other
your
one.
knee.
I don't know how to say it. It start OSTEOA. It's not arthritis, I know that. But again, nervous because that's why I didn't wrestle this year,
Oh,
because of my knee.
that's
So like I get anxious every time like I see the wrestling coaches because they're like, why didn't you do this?
Oh my God.
Because I'm hurt.
I'm hurted.
But my parents don't see that as an excuse. Like, you're better then. That's how they feel. They're like,
Yeah.
so.
Well, I guess this is the end of the Leap of Faith podcast, and we have a verse of the day, which is Matthew chapter 4, verse 4. It says, Jesus answered, "It is written, man shall not live on bread alone, but on every word that comes from the mouth of God." Pretty powerful. And if you guys want to worship to a song and you don't know what to pick, we'll pick one for you. What's a good song? What's a good worship song that you think is like, just it to worship to? You guys don't know?
You know?
I think if a really good song to worship to would be, gotta think about this.
Surrender, maybe? I don't know.
Surrender. Oh, that's a good song. Surrender by Hillsong.
There we go.
I will go with that. If you guys want to worship to a song, listen to Surrender by Hillsong. And yeah, we'll catch you guys on the flippity floppity.
Flippity floppity.